So, good evening, everyone. So, today we are back with the second part of the session that was started yesterday, going about the ASOM BARTA, the January edition. So, today we'll be starting with the second part of this session and various other news associated with this BARTA, that is the newsletter published by Government of Assam monthly. And with the news that we have seen in this newsletter, we will also go with some of the important and relevant topics that are associated with the news that has been discussed in this newsletter. Okay, so I hope you all are ready to go ahead for today's session. So, as I have requested you all yesterday, that please come up with a pen and a paper so that you can write some of the important aspects of what we discussed today. Okay. So, something which is going outside the purview of ASOM BARTA, which is very much relevant for your upcoming prelims, that will be discussed today in my session. Okay. So, we'll go with the session. Okay. We'll start the session. So, yesterday we have discussed all these respective topics. Okay. So, we'll start with the topics after this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So the next topic is the water, and plenty of it. Okay. So I have already said that the Guwahati, that is the main city of Assam, is facing some number of water crisis, and to tackle this number of water crisis, we have seen that the program of supplying water 24 into 7 to the citizens of this city is being taken up. Okay, so therefore we could see that in the recently this Jika project, which is very much in prominence, saying about the Japanese counterpart. Okay, so we could see that the various projects is launched part wise, এনেকুৱা নহয় কি গোটেই project overall complete হৈ গৈছে. So we could see that it has been distributed in some parts of Guwahati, and many parts of Guwahati are still cannot have the access to this water supply. So you could see that various areas, like you can see over here, be it Rajgarh, be it the Pupsarania, AIDC, Jutiniali, then this all areas has been getting this water supplied. Okay, part by part. So the overall completion of this entire project is by March 2024, which is a very important date as well as the year. Okay, so here we could see that various number of other programs has also been discussed associated with the JICA, that is the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Okay, so we could see the mention of a project that is named as JN Nuram. Okay, that's the project which can be seen as JN Nuram. Okay, so you can see about this project JNNURM. Okay, so if I go back to this JN Nuram, so we know that the full form of the JN Nuram is the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, which was launched on 3rd December 2005 and was closed by this government in 2014. So this very scheme of JN Nuram was succeeded by Atal Amrut Mission. Okay, so we even know about the Atal Amrut Mission. So what is this Atal Amrut Mission? So we could see that Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation is the subsidiary of this JN Nuram, which has replaced the JN Nuram. Okay, so this JN Nuram was launched in, sorry, this Amrut Mission was launched in June 2015 by the concerned Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And what is the main purpose of this Amrut Mission? It is to ensure that every household has got access to a tap with the assured supply of water and a sewerage connection. Okay, so therefore we could see that this is a centrally sponsored scheme. That's why I have discussed you yesterday about what is a central sector scheme and a centrally sponsored scheme. So we could see that the total outlay for Amrut mission at that point of time was released to be rupees 50,000 crore. Okay, and thereby we could see that even the state annual action plan has made some of the contributions towards Amrut. Okay, so therefore this Amrut mission, this JNURM mission, okay, is basically some of the missions to provide some of the clean drinking water facilities to the people of the city of Guwahati who is facing some number of crises in relation to water shortage. Okay, so here is some of the divisions that has been given over here. Okay, so you have to remember this division. Supposedly the GMADA water supply projects has taken 4 major projects with funding coming from JN Nuram, okay, which has been subsidized by the Amrut mission for the southwest region of Guwahati, JICA for the north and the south central regions, and the Asian Development Bank, that is the ADB, for the southeast region. So you have to remember all these respective elements which has contributed for this water supply. Also here we could see about the name taken by the Guwahati Jal Board, which will be responsible for operation and maintenance of these facilities upon their competence. So now if I say about what is basically this Guwahati Jal Board. So this Guwahati Jal Board was established as a single organization which is responsible for some water supply and sewerage services to the residents of the Guwahati metropolitan area. Okay, and the main mandate of this Guwahati Jal Board is to provide continuous and uninterrupted hygienic piped drinking water, and also to promote hygienic environment for public by removing and treating wastewater and sewage in the Guwahati metropolitan area. Okay, so therefore today the same legislation provides for the constitution of the Guwahati Water Regulatory Authority to observe the activities of the Guwahati Jal Board. Okay, so this Guwahati Jal Board basically comes under the housing or the Department of Housing and Urban Affairs, and also under the Guwahati Metropolitan Drinking Water and Sewerage Board. So, people, can you tell me about the minister who is basically in charge of Department of Housing and Urban Affairs, and also he is the chairman of the GMD, that is the Guwahati Metropolitan Drinking Water and Sewerage Board of Assam. Can anyone come up with me the minister who is basically leading the Guwahati Metropolitan Drinking Water and Sewerage Board, as well as he is the minister and of the Department of Housing and Urban Affairs? Can anyone come up with the minister of Assam who is credited to lead this department? Do you know anyone? Please come up with the comment section. The Minister of Department of Housing and Urban Affairs and the Chairman, Guwahati Metropolitan Drinking Water and Sewerage Board. Okay, Ashok Singhal, good. So Ashok Singhal, so Pratap, since you have right, Subrasanga Chutia, yes, good. Okay, I don't know what's your name, okay, because it's very much awkward to even pronounce your name. Please change your name or please come up with your valid account, okay. Okay, Turan and Sum, it's basically correct, Ashok Singhal. Now, people, when you have said about Ashok Singhal, can you say me about which particular constituency of assembly, because he is basically an MLA of BJP. So which constituency does Ashok Singhal belongs to? Can you come up with the constituency of Ashok Singhal? Anyone with the correct answer, please comment. So Ashok Singhal belongs to which community, which constituency? And that particular constituency comes under which district of Assam? Anyone with the correct answer? No one? Okay. So he comes from Dhekiajuli of Sunitpur district. Okay. So please do remember, because the Guwahati Jal Board is basically is in news. Okay. So he comes from Dhekiajuli of Sunitpur district. Okay. And he represents as a member of Legislative Assembly from this respective constituency. Okay. So therefore, this was basically in news with respective to the Guwahati Jal Board, as well as the supplies of JICA and everything. Okay. Coming to the next one, saying about what you can see, a shot in the arm for tourism. So it was basically discussing about the tourism potential of Assam. Okay. So you can see that one of the Kumar Padmapani Bora, who is basically MD for the ATDC, he said that our primary objective is to increase private investment in the tourism sector, and the tourism and industry department will work on the modality to give it a definite direction. So it was basically saying about the tourism potential as well as the tourism sector of Assam, which has not yet reaped its benefits. Why? Because Assam was considered to be a terror state. Okay, so यहाँ पे लिखा है ऐसे स्वा. From terrorism to tourism, Assam navigated an arduous journey, means a difficult journey. Because if I go back to the 90s, if I go back to the 80s, I could see the condition of Assam, which was on the grip of insurgency. Be it NDFB, be it the Alpha, be it any other insurgency groups of the Northeast. It has created some of the rakas in its respective state, and therefore we could not promote the level of tourism in our state as compared to any other states of this country. So therefore, today we could see that Assam, since has got a tourism potential, therefore today we are thinking of investing a lot to address the tourism sector and also to boost up the tourism industries in our state. Okay, so today if I see about some of the famous or some of the very important tourist destination sites in Assam, so I can talk about the Kaziranga National Park, obviously one of the home to the one horn rhinoceros. Okay, it's basically a world heritage site. It's basically coming under the biosphere reserves, so I can directly understand the importance of Kaziranga National Park. We can even say about Manas National Park. We can say about Kamakhya Temple for religious expedition. We can say about Majuli Island for being the largest riverine island. We can see about the Holongpar Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary in Jorhat. Okay, we can even see about the Kakochang waterfalls, which is basically located in Jorhat, okay, at some of the distance from Bokakhat. Then we can see about the Toklai Tea Research Center, which is basically one of the oldest tea research stations. Then we can see about the Assam State Zoo and Botanical Garden, which is basically known as Siriakhana in Guwahati, basically situated in Kamrup Metro. Then we can see about the Pobitora Wildlife Sanctuary, Orang National Park, Umanondo Island, one of the smallest island in the world. We can even say about the Diporbil, which is very much famous as a bird sanctuary, and also it is one of the important wetlands of international importance. Then we can see that here water lilies and hyacinths are very common and very beautiful. Okay. Also, we could see about the Hajo, which has got stunning temples as well as it has got sacred artifacts. Even Puamakka for Muslims or for the people who are following the religion of Islam, this region is very famous. Okay. Then we could see Namari National Park. Then we can see the Podum Pukuri. Okay. Then we could see the Haflong Lake. Then we can see Haflong Hill. Then we can see the Panimur Hills or Falls, basically in Dima Hasao. Okay. We can see about the Dribu Saikwa National Park, which has totally been untouched with any number of human interference. We can see about the Jaipur rainforest. We can see about the wild horses, okay, in this respective area where we can find a good number of wild horses, and the landscape is also very beautiful because it has no human potential. It has been totally been undisturbed still by any number of human interventions. Okay. Also, we could see that there are various cities like Sipsagar, which is basically defining about the centuries old civilization. We could see about Silchar. We could see about Dibrugarh, tea city of India. We can see about Silchar, consisting of the Bareil ranges, which has got some of the enchanting landscapes associated with the river Barag over it. Then we can see about Tensukia, beautiful villages. We can see about Swalkusi, that is going with some of the weavers villages. Then we can see Lilabari, known for the Derang Valley. Then we can see Korimgonj, wetlands and lush farms. Okay. Then we can see about Bongaigaon, that is a vibrant culture. Also, it is designated as one of the cleanest city or cleanest village we can find in this Bongaigaon district. Then we can see Hailakandi, which is going with peace and tranquility, instead being a border district. Also, we can see about Dorong having mythological importance of the Koch kingdom, as well as we can see about Digboy town, which is basically the oil city of Assam. So therefore, Assam has got a huge potential of this respective tourist places. And therefore, to boost these tourist places, we can see that recently, even the government of India, in collaboration with the Ministry of Shipping, Port and Waterways, as well as even with the collaboration of government of Assam, as well as support coming in from a nearby country like Bangladesh, we have started the process of connecting NW1 with NW2 through the Bangladesh protocol route. So therefore, we can see the MV Ganga Vilas, that is the motor vehicle Ganga Vilas, which is basically the world's longest motor vehicle river cruise. Okay, which has recently been flagged off by Narendra Modi via video conference on 13 January 2023. Okay, so at this point of time, we could see that from Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, this MV Ganga Vilas will travel around a kilometer of around 3,200 kilometers, and this will be for a period of 51 days. Okay, and it would pass through 27 river systems. Okay, so you can imagine the extent of this respective MB Vilas. Okay, so therefore this one is a very important like motor vehicle, or it's an important waterways, okay, which is connecting the both waterways via the Bangladesh protocol route. Okay, so therefore the 3,200-kilometer journey for 51 days, passing through 24/7 river system with around 36 tourists on board, the MV Ganga Vilas has got 3 decks. So you can see this is MV Ganga Vilas. Okay, so it has got 3 decks, 1, 2, and 3, and it has got 18 suites, that is the rooms. And therefore we can see that around 36 tourists, 32 are coming in from a country of Switzerland. So 32 tourists are basically of Switzerland. So here why we have made these people basically foreigners, because we are trying to improve the regions that this MB Ganga Vilas will pass through. We are expecting some of the good investments directly coming in from these foreign countries. Okay, so therefore we could see that this MB Ganga Vilas cruise itinerary includes the World Heritage Sites, the national parks, the river ghats, which consist of Patna in Bihar, Sahibganj in Jharkhand, Kolkata in West Bengal, Dhaka in Bangladesh, and also Guwahati in Assam, ultimately extending to Dibrugarh in the far east of Assam. Okay, so therefore you have to also remember the cruise ship, okay, that is the MB Ganga Vilas, which is basically 3 decks on the vessel. It is 12-meter wide, which is also very important, because in exam it would have maybe asked that what is the basic size of Ganga Vilas. So it is 12-meter wide as well as 62 meters long. So very, very important specifications. So it is 12-meter wide and 62 meters long. Okay, so that is the specifications of the size of MV Ganga Vilas. Okay, so here we have to also remember one other aspect, that environmentalist as well as even various number of conservationists, okay, basically from Assam as well as from the country, they have even said that this MB Ganga Vilas, if it is too frequent, then it would may impact the habitat of the Ganges river dolphin. Okay, so this Ganges river dolphin, okay, which is basically, we could see the habitat is basically in this river of Ganga as well as Brahmaputra, and we can see the IUCN status of this Ganges river dolphin is endangered. Okay, please remember, since Brahmaputra and Ganga river system is basically news, so you may be asked about the IUCN status of this Ganges river dolphin, and therefore it has been protected under Appendix 1 of the CITES. Okay, so that is the conservation status of this respective animal. Okay, so therefore it can be found in areas of India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Okay, so we can even find these things in the Indus river system, basically on the Bias river, but it is not of that quantity that you can find in these 3 countries of India, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Okay, so we can find the maximum concentration is basically on in India and Bangladesh. Okay, so in Assam or in Assamese language, this is oftenly called as Sisu, SISU. Okay, that is the India or the Ganges water dolphin. Okay, and thereby it has been recognized by Government of India as the national aquatic animal. Okay, so therefore we could see that this is one of the main ingredient of the Ganga river system, and therefore this animal is also very, very important. Okay, so coming to the next topic, Orunodoi 2.0 launched. Okay, so we could see recently about the Orunodoi 2.0, which was launched, okay, after a meeting that has taken place, okay, with the distribution application forms from January 1 to January 15. So what is this Orunodoi? So it's a scheme of the government of Assam, which was launched. Obviously, the launch date is very important. It was 2nd October 2020. So it was launched on the very day of International Day for Non-Violence, which is basically the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so therefore, it was launched on 2nd October 2020 under Orunodoi scheme. Monetary benefits has been envisaged for more than 24 lakhs poor households in the states. And the benefit has been enhanced from recent. जब ये शुरू किया था तब ये 830 था, उसके बाद इसको बढ़ा के 1000 कर दिया गया था, और अभी अरुणोदय 2.0 में it has been extended to the amount of 1250. Okay, so please remember this value. You can see that from this one we can see this 1250. It's a very crucial amount. तो पूछ दे सकते हैं कि from 830 to 1000 what is the present monthly grant under the Orunodoi 2.0. So it is basically 1250. Okay, so it's a very important terminology, and we can see that the total financial outlay for Orunodoi is around 4142 crore per year, making it one of the largest direct benefit transfer schemes in the country. Why it is said to be direct benefit transfer? Because we could see that direct through from the government, it will reach to the bank accounts of the person who is basically associated with this Orunodoi scheme and who is basically eligible for this Orunodoi scheme. Okay, so therefore we can see that this scheme was basically news, so it was very much important for our exam purpose. Okay, so therefore you can see that Orunodoi scheme described as the foremost beat among the Ostodoh Mukutar Unnoini Mala in the Assam budget 2020-21. Okay, so this is also very important, that what it has been described as. Okay, so please remember all these clarifications with respective to Orunodoi. Okay, next, coming to the Apada Mitra workshop. So National Disaster Management Authority, in collaboration with Assam State Disaster Management Authority, organized a workshop on midterm review and documentation of best practices of Apada Mitra scheme in Guwahati recently. Okay, so basically it is a workshop on how we are directly tackling any type of disasters that this particular state or the country is very much faced with. Okay, so yate ki kotha koa goise, it is saying about that how we can see about the relations between disaster and our respective preparedness. Okay, so in this context I want to just say about some of the like every state has got this SDMA, that is the State Disaster Management Authority, which is led by the Chief Minister of the respective state, just like NDMA, which has been led by the Prime Minister of the country. Okay, so today if I say about the ASDMA, that is the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, so it has got its own SDRF battalion, just like the NDRF battalion. So we all know that if I talk about the NDRF battalion, so we have got some of the 13 NDRF battalion in our country. Okay, so if I have to say about the first NDRF, so it is basically state in Assam. Second battalion is West Bengal. Third battalion is Orissa. Fourth battalion is Tamil Nadu. Fifth battalion is Maharashtra. Sixth is Gujarat. Seventh is Punjab. Eighth is Uttar Pradesh. Ninth is Bihar. 10th is Andhra Pradesh. 11th is Uttar Pradesh. 12th is Arunachal Pradesh. And 13th is Jammu and Kashmir. So therefore, for the Northeast, I could directly say that the 1st Battalion NDRF as well as the 12th Battalion NDRF is primarily responsible for protection of the Northeast. And the responsible force under this 1st and 12th is basically, the first one is led by the BSF, that is the Border Security Force, as well as the 12th Battalion NDRF in Itanagar is respectively led by SSB, that is the Sashastra Seema Bal, which is one of the central armed police forces of India. Okay, now if I talk about the state, like if I talk about the battalion and the reserve forces within the respective state of Assam, so I could say that the 1st Company SDRF Battalion of Assam is located at Lilabari in North Lakhimpur, and the parent battalion is basically the 13th Assam Police Battalion. Then if I say about the 2nd Company SDRF Battalion, it is at Kathal in Kachar, which is basically the parent organization is 6th Assam Police Battalion. Also, we could see the 3rd Company SDRF Battalion, which is located at Sila, SILA. Sila, it's basically a place in North Guwahati. And this is basically a regional training center of the people which is associated with this NDRF or SDRF. Okay, so 2 new battalions will be coming up at 4th Company SDRF in Bongaigaon, that is Abhyapuri in Bongaigaon, and one more is coming up in, that is known to be as the 5th Company SDRF Battalion, that will be in Dergaon, Golaghat. Okay, so therefore today we can see that actively today we have got 3 Assam Police SDRF Battalion, and associated with these battalions we have got the center of 1st at Lilabari in North Lakhimpur, 2nd at Kathal in Kachar, 3rd at Sila in North Guwahati, and the 2 main that will be upcoming will be 4th and 5th, basically located in Obhaipuri, Bongaigaon, and Dergaon, Gujarat, Dergaon, Golaghat. Okay, so this is basically one of the few SDRF battalions that we can see in our respective state. Okay, so that is one of the important criteria that is very much essential with respective to this Apada Mitra scheme that has been recently discussed. Okay, so you can see Jogen Mohan, this is the person who is the Minister of Revenue and Disaster Management, Government of Assam, inaugurating the workshop. Okay, so this is the one where we can see that the people who are associated within the Ministry of Disaster Management. Okay, so therefore we can see that this is the collaboration that has been taken between ASDM as well as the NDMA, that is the National Disaster Management Authority. Okay, now if I have to say about this person, that is Jogen Mohan, can anyone say me about his constituency? Okay, in which constituency does he belongs to? Anyone who knows about the constituency, about which constituency he basically represents? Okay, he is an incumbent. So which constituency he basically represents? Anyone with the answer? Jogen Mohan? No one? So he is basically coming from the Mohmara Assembly constituency, okay, which is one of the part of the Jorhat Lok Sabha constituency. Okay, no, not Soraido. He is basically from Mohmara. Okay, that is basically one of the part of the Jorhat Lok Sabha constituency. Okay, so therefore this person is basically an MLA from this constituency of Mohmara. Okay, so that's the correct one. Coming to the next one. Next. Okay, so over 1,100 militants surrendered in Barak Valley. So you can see all these people are basically surrounding. The police persons are there. Okay, we have got the ministers over here. We have got the persons like the topmost police officials. We can see Bishwadit Doimari being the speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Assam. Okay, so we can see all those persons who are basically present on the surrender. So what it is important over here, so you can see that the two outfits were active mostly in the border areas of Assam and Mizoram. So both the militant organization has been talks with Assam police and the state government since 2017. So 634 members led by Rajesh Charki and all these peoples from leading from the gang of Dhaniaram Riang surrendered during this day. So Brew militants were an armed outfit of Riang tribe, and Brew submitted charter of demands addressed to the Assam Chief Minister seeking land for the community rights under the Forest Rights Act 2006, and they are also demanding from the state the category of scheduled tribe plain status. Okay, now here the main respect of this question is the Brew one, okay, or the Brew tribes. Okay, so here we have to discuss about what are basically these Brew tribes. Okay, now if I say about this Brew tribes, okay, so these people who are basically the Brew tribes, this are also called to be Riangs. इनको Riangs भी बोला जाता है, REANGS. So this Brew or Riang is a community who are indigenously to the northeast India, living in regions like Tripura, Mizoram as well as Assam. So in 3 states में ये लोग फैले हुए हैं. And in Tripura, these people are recognized to be PVTGs. PVTGs क्या होता है? Particularly vulnerable tribal group. Can anyone say me that which state in our country has the highest number of PVTGs? That is particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So there is a state in India which has got the highest concentration of these PVTGs. Can anyone come up with the answer? That which state has got the highest concentration of the PVTGs? That is the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So what are basically these PVTGs? No, not Madhya Pradesh. Not Madhya Pradesh. Anyone? Any other who wants to attempt? No. Okay, fine. I will tell you the answer. So it is basically Orissa. Okay, not Andaman Nicobar also. It is Orissa who has got the highest number of PVTGs that are found in our country. Okay, so therefore, if I say that Orissa directly holds 75 number of PVTGs as listed today. So we can see 75 PVTGs. So this PVTGs, that is the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, has some of the basic characteristics. तो इनको लिस्ट आउट करने के लिए भी एक बेसिक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होता है. क्या क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होता है? supposedly they are mostly homogeneous. ये लोग heterogeneous societies में believe नहीं करते हैं. Okay, তাহাঁতে বেছিকে heterogeneous society থাকি ভাল নাপায়. তেখেতসকলে কি ভাল পায়? তেখেতসকলে নিজৰ societyৰ মাজতে, নিজৰ communityৰ মাজতে, without any interference from the third party, they wants to come upon. So therefore, they are mostly homogeneous. They have got a small population. They are relatively physically isolated. Okay, physically isolated মানে river এখন দি isolated হ'ব পাৰে, বা islandত থাকিব পাৰে, বা এটা like মাউণ্টেইনছৰ মাজত, বা মাউণ্টেইনছৰ টপত, বা মাউণ্টেইনছ এটা দি separate হৈ পেলাই. So they remain geographically isolated. Okay, they do not have any type of written language. তেখেতসকলে যিটো কয় সেই লেংগুৱেজটোৰ লিখিত ফৰ্মত তেখেতসকলৰ লেংগুৱেজ নাই. Okay, and they relatively use simple form of technology, and they are not directly made to change. Okay, তেখেতসকলে বেছি changes বেয়া পায়. Okay, so therefore we could see that here the slower rate of change can be seen within the category of these PVTGs. So therefore মই কি কলো basic characteristics PVTGs are? They are mostly homogeneous. They are having a small population. They are relatively physically isolated. Okay, or you can say geographically isolated. They have absence of written language. They are relatively using simpler technology, and also they have a slower rate of change. Okay, so these are people who are basically PVTGs. Okay, so আজি যদি মই কওঁ, there are many number of PVTGs in our country. Okay, so if I have to say that today in India, the tribal population, can someone tell me that what is the overall tribal population in percentage we can see in our country? যদি মই percentageত যাওঁ, আমি ইণ্ডিয়াত tribal population কিমান পাই আছো? If I have to go for percentage, can anyone say me? You may not be perfect, but at least near about. কোনোবাই যদি ক'ব পাৰা যে near about আমাৰ population, tribal population or percentage আমাৰ total populationত কিমান আছে? Anyone? No one? Not even try? Okay, fine, I'll be telling you. So they are around, okay, you are slightly more, 10% is not the correct one. It is around 8.6%. Okay, yes, Samiran, you are more closer. So it is around 8.6%, approximately 44. Oh my god, Pinakpani, iman manhu nai tribal. So therefore we could see that it is around 8.6%. Okay, where we could see that these people are basically dominating in the total population in this country. Okay, so therefore today the respective department. Okay, now tell me, okay, this is a very easy question for you all, open to all. Which is the ministry which is implementing the schemes for this PVTGs? Which ministry is looking for the implementation of the schemes associated with this PVTGs? That is the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Can someone come up with this respective answer? Which ministry? Are you getting my question? So which ministry is basically going up with the implementation of any schemes related to the PVTGs? Not minorities. Yes, Pinakpani is correct. Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Okay, and who is basically the minister of Ministry of Tribal Affairs today? So he is Arjun Munda. Okay, so therefore Arjun Munda is now the he is a member of Lok Sabha. Okay, so he is a member of Lok Sabha, and he belongs to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Okay, and therefore today he is directly represented. Okay, and he basically belongs to Jharkhand. That is also one of the important respect with respective to this person. Okay, so therefore today he is an incumbent minister which is basically associated, and he is basically the minister of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So he basically belongs to Jharkhand, and his constituency, that is his MP constituency, is basically Khunti, KHUNTI. So wo Khunti se belong karte hain. Okay, so therefore this is one of the person who is basically leading today the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Okay, now if I come back to the Brew community, so my Brew community kotha koi asilu. So today this Brew community or this Riang community, which can be found in these three states of Tripura, Mizoram and Assam. So in Tripura, these people are recognized as particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Okay, so in the time of Mizoram, they have been targeted by groups that do not consider them to be indigenous to the state. So therefore, during the time period of 1997, there are various number of ethnic clashes that occurred in this region, where around 37,000 Brews fled some of the regions and districts which were predominantly occupied by them. So आज अगर मैं बोलूं about the Bru refugees which were original to this region, so they occupied some of the districts of Mizoram like the Mamit, Kolasib and the Lunglei. Okay, so there are three basic districts which is dominated by this Bru community before to and prior to 1997. So what are these districts? It is Mamit, M-A-M-I-T, Mamit. Then we can see Kolasib, K-O-L-A-S-I-B, Kolasib. And lastly, Lunglei, L-U-N-G-L-E-I, Lunglei. Okay, so these are the three districts of Mizoram, and therefore, by these ethnic clashes, when the Mizo tribes directly turned out to be very violent, so they have to migrate towards regions like Tripura as well as Assam. Okay, so therefore, today, even if you see that in regions of North Tripura, some around 32,000 peoples are still residing in refugee camps. Okay, so today, because of such number of discrimination that has happened in this respective tribe, so therefore some of the peoples have took up arms against the state and thereby naming them as the Revolutionary Army of, or the Bru Revolutionary Army Union, that is known as the BRAU, B-R-A-U, and also United Democratic Liberation Front of BRAU, that is the UDLF-B. Okay, so এতিয়া এই সোপাই এই যিমান সোপা মানুহ টেৰৰিজিমত গৈছিলে, ইনসাৰ্জেন্সিত গৈছিলে arms against the state. So after a quadripartite accord was signed between the center, the government of Mizoram, Tripura and the leaders of Bru organization, which was signed in January 2020. So under this pact, the Home Ministry has committed to incur the whole expenditure of settlement of the Bru communities in Tripura. And therefore, there are various number of assured like plot that has been given to these Bru communities. And therefore, today we could see that many number of people associated with this Bru community has directly given up the arms. So you can see these people who have given up the arms. You can see the collection of weapons, okay, which was entering into this country via the corridor, which is known as the Golden Triangle, which we all know is the main important route of drugs to be carried on to these regions like Northeast. Okay, so you can see because of the settlement and this quadripartite agreement between the central government, the Mizoram government, the Tripura government, as well as the Bru community, we can see that today these people have directly surrendered and have directly made to come towards the mainstream society. तो आज mainstream society में आना ये लोग चाहते हैं, and therefore we can see that today, because of all this communities has directly surrendered. So you can see 1179 indigenous belongings to two different outfits in Barak Valley has down arms on this respective date. Okay, so you can see this charter, okay, and this respective dates. Okay, and what are the respective claims? तो आज ये लोग क्या चाहते हैं? तो they want that they should be considered under the scheduled tribe plain status in the respective state. Okay, so all these leaders are not very important. Okay, so baki itna hi tha discussion with respective to this Bru community. So here arises that what is basically Bru community and what are the PVTGs, which is basically the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Okay, so today in India, Orissa directly leads the number of tribal groups, which is basically under the PVTGs. Okay, now if I comes to the next one, so today we'll take it as the last option. So if I say about the Assam-Arunachal meet on boundary, so recently we have seen that Assam Agriculture Minister Otul Bora and Arunachal Deputy Chief Minister Chona Main in Janta Bhavan, who came to solve the disputes between Assam and Arunachal. Okay, so we all know about, if I go back to the history of Assam, okay, so of Assam and Arunachal, about its basically the problems. So we can see that Arunachal Pradesh, which was once a part of Assam, shares a boundary of around 804 kilometer with Assam. So Arunachal Pradesh और Assam कुछ 804 किलोमीटर का एक बाउंड्री शेयर करते हैं. That is basically an interstate boundary. So today the problem of this Assam Arunachal dates back to colonial times, when the British established the inner line rule in 1873, and which draws an imaginary border between plains and the frontier hills. And subsequently, these hills are known to be as the northeastern frontier tracts basically around 1915. So the Assam government assumed administrative responsibility of this NEFT, that is the Northeastern Frontier Tax, after independence. And in 1944, it renamed the Northeast Frontier Tract as the NEFA, that is the Northeast Frontier Agency. Okay, and in 1972, it became the UT of Arunachal Pradesh, and it was admitted as to the Union as a state in 1987. But however, before it was separated from Assam, a subcommittee which was led by then Assam Chief Minister Gopinath Bordoloji issued a report in 1951 with suggestions for the governance of this Northeastern Frontier Agency that is within the purview of Assam. According to this Bordoloi Committee report, Arunachal Pradesh, then NEFA, transferred roughly around 3,648 square kilometer of the plain land of Balipara. Balipara is basically in Sunitpur, and also the Sadia foothills in Dibrugarh to Assam's Dorong and Lakhimpur districts. Okay, sorry, Assam's Dibrugarh and Lakhimpur districts. So in this area, which is directly adjoining the areas of these two districts, so Arunachal Pradesh today claim that the transfer of these plain regions of Sadia and Balipara was made without the consent of the people of Arunachal tribes. So Arunachal में जितने tribes रहते हैं वहां पे, supposedly be the Singpo tribes and the Tai tribes, Tai Fatke tribes, तो उन लोग का permission यहाँ पे नहीं लिया गया. So therefore, they claim that this decision of going for the regions like Balipara and Sadia was arbitrary, and therefore no tribal leader was consulted before the land was transferred to Assam. And therefore, they just choose to construct a boundary between the plains and the hills on the basis of the region that was acquired by Assam. And therefore, today we can see that because of these two regions and the boundary between these two regions of Arunachal Pradesh and the state of Assam, this type of contest started, okay, from the time Arunachal Pradesh was given a statehood within the Union of India. So therefore, today we could see that since the state chief minister is going to solve various number of border problems, so we can see even he sat with Assam Meghalaya, like with the Meghalaya chief minister, to solve the problems of the Assam Meghalaya border. So even today, even Arunachal Pradesh is also very interested to solve every forms of dispute that they have with the state of Assam. Okay, so therefore these committees today are set up so that they could take some of the important associates to make this problem solve at a greater fast rate, and therefore the claims that they have should be intermingling or in coordination or in various number of settlements, they could solve it at a very faster level. Okay, so that's why we could see that these two ministers directly came up for settling the disputes between Assam as well as Arunachal. Okay, so therefore this was the main associates, and this was the main area through which we could see that the problems generated, and this type of problems which has been merged with the problem of the border disputes. Okay, so enekwa nohoy ki border disputes okol Assamor logot ase ba Assam aru Northeastor majote ase. Okay, these border disputes today are prevalent across states of India. We can even see recently there is a problem of Maharashtra and Karnataka with regions with the region basically known as Belgaum, which is also known as Belagavi, okay, which is in Karnataka today. So Maharashtra has claims of this respective region, and today it is a part of Karnataka. So therefore today we could see that this is the main type of bonding today we have towards states, and therefore this type of differences should be solved at the earliest with proper analysis or with proper talks and with proper peace agreements. Okay, so therefore we could see that this was the problem, and this was the problem which has been initiated. So we'll try to solve every type of disputes with respectively of Assam and Arunachal. Okay, now coming to the Gamosa GI tag to boost rural economy. So we all know that recently Gamosa was given the GI tag. Okay, so we can see what is the GI tag means for Gamosa. So that means it gets legal protection as a product of Assam. Traditional handloom weavers needs to register with GI registry in Chennai, because we can see that this office is basically headquartered in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Okay, so we can see that registered weavers can expect premium prices for the Gamosa with the GI logo. Machine-made Gamosa can be easily detected to protect consumers for deception. So 8 varieties of Gamosa, very, very important, I'm telling about. Okay, very, very important. You can expect these questions even in APSC prelims or even in the third grade exams that will be conducted across Assam in the coming times. So 8 varieties of Gamusa, including GI applications. They are Uka, Thulam, Tioni or Pani Gamusa, Telosh, Dora Boron, Enakota, Guhai Gamusa, and Bihuan. So these are the 8 varieties of Gamusa that we can see in our state. Okay, so please do remember these 8 types of Gamusas, very, 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 very important, which are associated with the state of Assam. Okay, now if I say about this Gamusa, when I am talking about Gamusa, so please do remember all other respective GI tags that Assam has got in the recent times. So I am repeating it. Just if you wants to make a note, you can take the note. So the today Assam has got around 10 GI tags. Okay, so they are the Assam Orthodox logo. We can see the Muga silk of Assam logo. Then obviously the Muga silk. Okay, so Assam Orthodox logo jitu moi kolu, that basically comes under the types of agricultural. Muga silk of Assam logo, that basically comes under the type of handicraft. Muga silk also comes under the type of handicraft. Assam Karbi Anglong ginger comes under the type of agricultural. Tejpur lychee agricultural. Zoha rice agricultural. Boka saul agricultural. Kazi nemu agricultural. Chokwa rice agricultural. Gamusa handloom. Okay, and obviously the wine that is produced in Assam is basically coming under the type of breweries that we can see in our state. Okay, so therefore this type of this 11 number of GI tags of Assam we can see basically, which has been pronounced as the geographical indicator. Okay, and therefore we can see that the Assam wine, or which we all know in local language to be known as Judima. So this basically is one of the respective elements, and this directly amounts to 11 number of the GI tags that Assam has got in the recent times. Okay, so therefore please do remember all these respective elements of GI tags which Assam has got recently, as well as some of the specifications of this respective items which has been produced under the respective types. So কেতিয়াবা কি সুধি দিয়ে, types বিলাক সুধি দিয়ে। So এই types বিলাকো আমাৰ মনত ৰাখা হলে important হৈ যায়। Okay, so therefore please do remember associated with everything. Okay, now we'll take one more. Okay, chalo, we have got time, take it. Okay, so yate tar bahire we cannot see any number of discussions. I don't think so. Okay, anything which has to be remembered? Obviously it's okay. Okay, no, we do not have anything other to remember. Okay, so coming with this one, power savings by going green. So what is Assam on the move? So you can see that this type of structures are being built by various number of private households. Okay, so you can see two persons has been named: Shyam Sundar Kalida, former employee of Guwahati refinery, okay, who is directly going for rooftop solar plates. Okay, and the initial cost being 1.18 lakhs. Okay, so here it is to cut for, because today the APDCL, okay, APDCL, okay, I have already discussed all these things, the Assam Power Distribution Corporation Limited. Okay, so this is basically a distribution company. Okay, so this distribution company even are giving subsidy to the people who is directly going to set up some of the solar panels in their households. Okay, so today if I have to say about the renewable energy, basically going with solar energy. Okay, so today solar energy and all these things, you can see that it is cheaper than conventional electricity, and many electricity is much lower compared to the pre-solar power days, who save around 1500 to rupees 1800 each month with this respective solar power. So today if I have to say about the renewable energy, so government of India has directly set a target to expand the India's renewable energy installed capacity to around 500 gigawatt by 2030. Okay, so by 2030 government of India has set a target of 500 gigawatt. Okay, and India is also targeting to reduce the India's total projected carbon emission by around 1 billion tons by around 2030, which will reduce the carbon intensity of the nation's economy by less than 45%. Okay, and thereby by the end of the decade we will achieve net zero carbon emission by 2070. Okay, so 2070 like ki kone mami net zero carbon emission. Okay, and by 2030 we'll be going with 500 gigawatt. Okay, and also we've be projected that India will try to reduce around 1 billion tons of carbon emission by 2030. So these things are very, very important. Also today we could see that if I say about India, the present status, so the total present status, okay, just I will change my color of this pen. Okay, all fine. So you can see So if I see that the total installed capacity for renewable energy in India is around 151.4 gigawatt. So what is the target that we have to achieve? 500 gigawatt. That is by 2030. Okay, which is not so far. Okay, so therefore today, if I have to do a breakup of this 151.4, then I could say that wind power has got around 40.08 gigawatt. Wind power. If I have to go for solar power, it is around 50 gigawatt. If I have to go for biopower, so biopower is basically 10.61 gigawatt. If I have to go for small hydropower HP, it is around 4.83 gigawatt. Then if I have to go for large hydropower, then it is around 46.51 gigawatt. So what I have to say, that today the installed capacity is 151.4 gigawatt of renewable energy. And along this renewable energy, if I have to do a breakup, wind power is around 40.08, solar power is around 50 gigawatt, biopower is 10.6 gigawatt, small hydropower is 4.83 gigawatt, and large hydropower is around 46.51 gigawatt. Okay, and therefore today we have got around 45 solar parks which is directly approved in our country. So आज अगर मैं बोलूं some of the important solar parks, can someone tell me about some of the important solar parks that are getting built in India? Okay, कोई एक दो भी नाम बता दो. Okay, so अगर नहीं जानते हो तो मैं बोल भी दूंगा एक दो. So कुनबाई जो जाना, you can directly say. Okay, that which are the solar powers which has been recently constructed in our country. Please do comment on the comment sections. Okay, or if you cannot find, please do find the important solar parks that are basically in news in the recent times. Okay, so today we could see that, and also I can find you one another question, that can you tell me about the world's largest renewable energy park of around 30 gigawatt, okay, which is basically having a capacity of solar wind hybrid project. So ये कौन से स्टेट में अभी फिलहाल बनाया जा रहा है? So if anyone knows, you can directly say it with me. So installation of the world's largest renewable energy park, which is carrying a mass of around 30 gigawatt capacity, and etu hybrid model hobo, mane yata solar panel thakibo yata wind panel thakibo. That is basically the wind power, duta power use korim. Okay, and it's a hybrid project. Okay, and it is considering under a state which has got the highest potential of solar as well as wind. Okay, so can you tell me about the location of the respective state which is going with this project, that is the hybrid project of solar and wind? Can anyone know? Who do you know about which is basically the state which is going ahead with the respective element of the solar and wind hybrid project? No one? So you are not following current affairs properly. People are answering very less. So yes, Subrat Shankar Chutia is basically correct. So it's obviously Gujarat, which is basically going with some of the largest wind power in our country. Okay, so yes, Silvijika, it's all correct. Okay, so Gujarat is going with this hybrid project, okay, of around 30 gigawatt, which will be contributed from both the solar as well as the wind. Okay, so who has said largest floating solar power plant? So Pinakpani, can you say where, in which state basically we can see the largest floating solar power plant in our country? So anyone with the correct answer can please come up. So India's largest floating solar power project, which is now fully operational, and it was recently inaugurated in October 2002. No, it's not Madhya Pradesh, it's Telangana. Okay, so please do remember, it's Telangana. So this is also known as Ramagundam, Ramagundam, Ramagundam Floating Solar Power Project, which is in Telangana, and it has been recently operationalized from October 2022. Okay, not October, sorry, it is from July 2022. Okay, this respective floating power plant was inaugurated and it was recently in charge. So today, who is controlling this respective unit of floating power plant? It is the NTPC. Okay, National Thermal Power Corporation. So this is one of the major aspect of this floating power plant, which is even told to be the world's largest floating solar power plant. So it's very much important with respective to this element. Okay. So we all know about some of the projects which have been taken upon by the government. Okay, so today the government is taking initiatives with respective to the PLI scheme, which is known as the Product Linked Incentive Schemes. Okay, basically providing some of the high efficiency solar PV modules. Okay, then we can see the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Okay, so this Ministry of New and Solar Energy is basically a central public sector scheme which is basically going with projects like the PM Kusum. Okay, also rooftop solar power program is under the aspect of Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Okay, so therefore please do remember every types of government initiatives that have been taken with respective to creating some number of renewable energy atmosphere in our country. Okay, so this becomes very very important with respective to this respective number of schemes. Okay, so we can even see that today even the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is also giving some of the subsidy for some of the capital expenditures on the cells and modules that will be used in the solar power plants. Okay, so therefore even there will be tax rebates for the people who are going on for this number of schemes and they are taking subsidy from these respective schemes. So anyone who wants to invest on this respective field will be given some of the tax-free allocations, and also they could be given some of the special economic zones which are only made to go for various number of investments. Okay, so therefore today please do remember every number of activities associated with solar energy, and today we know about that renewable energy has a great source in our country. Okay, so that is why we have seen that it is because India comes under the being of a tropical country. Okay, so India is endorsed with a vast solar energy potential of around 5,000 trillion kilowatt hour. Okay, so please do remember everything associated with this respective solar energy projects as well as the wind energy projects that we can see coming in India in the coming times. Okay, so what is this Bhadla solar power project? So why you have seen? So yes, Bhadla solar power project located at where? It is in Rajasthan, I think. Okay, so he wants to know something about Bhadla Solar Park. So Bhadla Solar Park is basically in Rajasthan. It is the largest solar park in the world as of 2022, and is spread around a period around the districts of Jodhpur, then the districts of Phalori, then the districts of Bhadla. So it's a very large potential of, and it is basically located near to the Thar Desert. Okay, basically on the western front. Okay, যিটো আমাৰ পাকিস্তানৰ লগত একদম extreme border আছে, which is basically the international boundary, because we do not have got any forms of disputes in respectively this IB, that is the international boundary. So এই গোটেই লাইনটোত আমি কি দেখা পাওঁ, এটা international boundary দেখা পাওঁ which has been guarded by the BSF, that is the Border Security Force. So এতিয়া আমি দেখিছো যে this districts like Jodhpur, which is basically located in this region. So ইয়াতে এই Bhadla solar power project to বনোৱা গৈছে. Okay, so we can see that the capacity that is projected in this respective power plant is around 2245 megawatt. Okay, so 2245 megawatt or eta capacity eta ami yate solar power park ta banam, and therefore we can see that this is an important location because we all know that Rajasthan receives the highest amount of temperature as well as solar power in the coming times. It was to amar yate important hoi jao about the Bhadla solar parks. Okay, so please do try to note every form of solar parks, every form of wind parks, and also every forms of renewable energy sources that India is directly trying to leverage in the coming times. Okay, so please, these are all important. Please do remember everything associated with this renewable energy. Okay, so today we'll end this session over here. So we'll again come up with the third part of this respective Ohomia Barta or this ASOM BARTA. So I hope such type of like analysis probably it will be helpful for you in the coming times. Okay, so jetia ami eta theme pohu ba jetia ami eta topic pohi asu ba jetia ami eta news pohi asu, he news to ami kinman prokare ami sabo lage. So I am going through the analysis only because to know you that how to read a respective topic. Eta topic ba eta amar scheme ba eta amar process ami keneke kiman dhorone sai pelai, kimanta weight ami sai pelai ami pohibo lage, that is very very important. Okay, so supposedly moi jiman khini eta explanation korisu, so iman khini perspective jodi aji ami sabole jao, then obviously at some point of time we will be very clear and thorough with every forms of news that is coming in our news. So hetu karone these things are very important.
যেতিয়া এটা টপিক লোৱা, go for every 4 sides, 5 sides, 6 sides, 7 sides, 8 sides, sides to the power infinity. যিমানটা সাইড চাব পাৰা চাইব যাবা, because that will be helpful for you in the upcoming preparation of yours. আৰু এইবিলাক আমাৰ প্ৰিলিমছতটো হেল্প হ'বই হ'ব. It will basically help you in even the মেইনছ পাৰ্পাছ. মেইনছত যেতিয়া লিখিব লাগিব, তেতিয়া তোমালোকৰ ওচৰত ছাপ'জলি ৰিনিউৱেবল এনাৰ্জিৰ ওপৰত বা ছ'লাৰ এনাৰ্জিৰ ওপৰত বা উইণ্ড এনাৰ্জিৰ ওপৰত কিবা এখন এছে আহিলে. So these essays are also basically important. And essay তেতিয়া আমি কোট কৰিব পাৰিম. আজি যিখিনি মই ডিভাইড কৰি দিছোঁ, ছাপ'জলি when I am talking about the renewable energy sources, কিমানখিনি গিগাৱাট আছে, তাৰ মাজত solar energy কিমান, wind energy কিমান, এইবিলাক যদি আমি ডিফাৰেঞ্চিয়েট কৰি থৈ দিওঁ, then it would be helpful for us in the coming times. তো আমাৰ বহুতখিনি হেল্পফুল হৈ যায় তেতিয়া. ওকে, তেতিয়া আমি গম পাওঁ পিয়ৰলি যে কিমানখিনি এলোকেশ্যনছ আমাৰ চ'লাৰৰ কাৰণে আছে, কিমানখিনি উইণ্ডৰ কাৰণে আছে. চ' ডেট বিকামছ ভেৰি ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট. চ' সেইটো কাৰণে প্লিজ ডু ৰিমেম্বাৰ, সেইটো কাৰণে মই টাইম লৈ আছোঁ. It's hardly 14 to 15 pages of ASOM BARTA, but still I'm taking 3 days of time to complete this respective newsletter, just because we can see, we have to see how much important each and every topic is. Our topic tour para kimankhini questions probably ulabo pare, kimankhini questions jodi ami eta discuss kori long, then obviously any questions that may come from this respective topic, you will sure to answer. So hope you have find this session very useful. So we'll be coming up with the third part soon. You will get the respective update in your respective groups. Okay, so that's all for today. Okay, so please do join in the coming parts, and thank you all for your support and love. And also, because you all are commenting, whatever you are commenting, it's basically good that you have tried to comment, you have tried to attempt the answers. It may be wrong, it may be correct, okay, but yes, you have tried to take part in this respective session. So thank you all. I am directly quitting for today. So see you all, and with a say, Jai Hind. Chalo.